Hey everybody, welcome to the... I almost did your thing, be like, the very 6th episode. Welcome to the...
sixth episode.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to the 6th episode of Cooldown Timer. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Floyd Buchanan. With me today is...
Alex.
Hi.
Hi. So I hate Cheesegraters.
I've noticed. Did we try to talk about that?
I don't remember if this was in one of the ones that we actually used or... Because I know... Mufasa, we tried to have another guest star on last week, but just, no, this was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We tried to have a guest star on 2 weeks ago in our, like, fake, not, our attempts at episode 5, but it didn't actually work.
Thank goodness for that buffer.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, and then the fact that I didn't actually post episode 3 until...
Bad Alex.
A week after I had... Because I went to the dump that weekend, and then
right.
you already heard about the dump.
That, or you'll hear about it soon.
If you're going backwards. Like...
I hate... Okay. I hate the fact that we listen to podcasts backwards.
Like catching the... You catch the punchline before you actually hear the joke. I actually heard that, like, in one of the episodes... We've been listening to The Comedy Button. It's a wonderfully... highly offensive but still rather hilarious podcast done by some of the guys who work for IGN and some of the other video game journalism websites that are in California, and they we've been trying to listen to all of them, but we've been working through them backwards for better or
for worse.
Oh, I hit the Have you hit the episode with the guy who...
Are we seriously talking about another podcast on our podcast?
Moving on with our lives. The color red reminds me of strawberries and cherries.
Oh, cherries.
Oh. Spiders and peaches.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, well...
I don't remember. That was so long ago. That was 2 lifetimes ago for me.
Yeah, that was when I had a thing for your sister.
That was a long time ago.
Once upon a time before...
Who is now married to Ringo.
Yep, that she is. That, and I was the best... Oh, gosh. Okay, so, wonderful story moment thing. At Ringo's wedding, and... so at Ringo's wedding, I was the best man, and she had one of her friends be the... maid of honor lady, and the maid of honor gave her speech first, and she talked about how when they were younger, she had a thing for Ringo, and she hated Melinda,
my sister.
And so she tells the story about, you know, how and then eventually she and Melinda became friends and blah 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 blah. And then it's my turn. And because I can't, you know, I have a difficult time.
It's really funny because you're such a more, like, in general, a more well put together and charismatic person than me. But you can't get in front of people.
I have to have
and
a script.
I'm very comfortable in front of a group of people.
We'll tell you the fun story about his awesome speech that he gave for Mr. H's wedding.
Dude, I'm a badass.
Oh, God, it was a fantastic speech. Okay, so I gave my speech in which I talk about how I had a thing for Melinda when... and I hated Ringo because he was the competition. And so we both give our speeches and everybody's laughing and whatnot. And I think it was actually the bridesmaid's father makes a comment of like, and you chose these two.
Yeah. I just remember at the very end of your speech, you're like everything's gonna be terrible, but you guys can work through this, blah blah blah.
Oh, and I screwed up the freaking. Oh my
you
gosh.
deserve this.
Okay.
Well, not all the bad things that are happening.
No,
but...
yeah, okay. So I was talking about how they had kind of a really, really rough road to marriage, and so I talk about how they had this rough road. And the script talk, or what I say in the script, is that, you know, that their wedding is the celebration, and they deserve the wedding for all the crap that they've had to go through. But I skipped the line where I talk about it's the wedding that they deserve, and so it just was like, oh, you went through all this crap, you deserved it.
Well, you know what's really funny though is that when you said it, I was like, okay, cool. I didn't think twice about it. It sounded, because I mean, we knew what you meant. But then you corrected yourself, and I was like, oh, that's a funny joke. I thought the whole thing was scripted, to be completely honest. I'm excited to what you'll say when you have to give the best man speech at my wedding.
Gosh. Well, I thought you were going to have me and Mr. H be your
Well,
best
I don't even know if
man.
he'll be able to show up.
Oh, right, because he's often
Yeah, so we'll
frigid
see.
territory of...
I love Mr. H. He's
Alaska.
like the best dude ever, but
He's up in a totally different world right
yeah.
now.
He's separated by another country. Yeah, I don't know, like...
Talk about your your speech.
I had an interesting... Well, that was just an interesting week for me, because I was really frustrated the whole week. But I didn't have a written speech. I'm not one of those people that can, like, sit down and write a speech. I am not a writer by any stretch.
I am.
So... What had been happening that week is that the maid of honor had been talking about how she'd been working on the speech. And every time she'd mention it, I'd just start thinking about what I wanted to do. And I kind of came up with a story, because, I mean, Mr. H and we have a lot of stories together. And so I started, and I kind of based a speech around it. And I had nothing rehearsed or figured out or anything. And I get up there, and I did the speech, and it was... it went really well.
It was fantastic.
No, I don't know if you know this or not, actually, but you know how his speech teacher was there?
Yeah.
He came up to me afterwards and told me that it was a really, really good speech.
Fantastic speech.
So yeah, I don't know. I worked some comedy into it, and I told a good story, and
It was so good.
I'm pretty proud of that, honestly.
Okay, and then, of course, because it isn't some sort of big special event unless I make some sort of really stupid comment.
You really beat yourself up over it. Like, honestly, though, this is something that I need to tell you. You beat yourself up over these little things that you
I said your name!
What?
Okay, so this was at the thing before, the night before at Pizza Hut, and friggin' you called me up when you were giving your little, like, mini speech.
That one went terribly, by the way.
Oh, gosh! And I go over to, like, I talk about how, you know, how we all had a fun little relationship, the three of us, and I go over to Huck, and I'm like, we'll miss you, Floyd!
I don't remember that. Oh, that's wonderful.
It's like saying another woman's name in bed.
Except you say my name.
That's another one I beat myself up.
I'm one of those people, though, that, like, I get really stressed out before a speech, and then I go on stage and I'm completely calm.
As long as I have a script, I tend to be that way.
Well, actually, no.
Tend to.
Honestly, though, on that speech, because I had no idea what I was doing, I was really stressed out. I don't know if you saw or noticed or not, but I was shaking a little bit. My hands were shaking a little bit.
Nope. I was too busy being
laughing at my jokes
engaged.
and no, I don't know. I was raised in Scouts, and I had to give a lot of speeches growing up. And what?
We need to tell the story about my graduation speech.
Oh yeah, that was 4 lifetimes ago for me. No, but
You tell it better. You'll tell it.
I don't really remember it. You should probably tell it. But like, I'm usually a pretty, like, when it comes to talking and stuff, I'm not like super, what's the word I want?
Eloquent?
Eloquent. Perfect example. I'm not very eloquent, like, off the top of my head.
Okay. After we tell the story of my graduation, we need to tell the story about the time I was interviewed by the NSA.
What? All right, let's start with that.
You gotta tell your story.
Did I ever tell you that I got a letter inviting me to the Miss American or Miss Washington pageant or whatever too?
As a contestant?
Yes, the
Too?
same as you.
Oh no, it was American Miss or whatever.
Whatever it was.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not alone in that?
No. You and we both got letters inviting us to be contestants in the Miss America
or the
Miss...
National American Miss.
Whatever it was.
That's what it was.
Sure, I don't know. We both got letters inviting us to be contestants.
Manly man.
I have a hairy chest.
I don't. I've got like 3 chest hairs.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a skull and crossbones. That's what the freaking hair on my chest makes, a skull and crossbones. I'm a freaking pirate.
Then we got the rocket ship on.
Yeah, on Michael.
Michael's skull or rocket ship.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were telling a story about the speech or whatever.
I don't remember. Anyway, it was a great speech.
So my graduation and then the NSA. So for my graduation speech, okay, so I was homeschooled, but I participated in a how do I word this? A private school umbrella thing that made sure that
it was fake homeschooling.
I got a legitimate, they were an accredited institution that kind of just checked over everything I did to make sure that I could actually get a legitimate diploma. For my graduation through this umbrella private school organization thingy, I was like, or they had you submit copies of potential scripts for speeches. And I was like, what the hey, why not? So I make up this story about this guy named like David or something who was going to this school and he found out he was gonna die and he changed the way he was gonna live and he became well known amongst his peers and whatnot, blah 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 blah, and then he died like 2 weeks before graduation. And I used that as a metaphor to try to talk about living as if, I don't know, living life
every day like it's your last.
Whatever, something like that. And so I just sent it and I was like, whatever, man. And so a couple weeks later, I ended up getting an email saying that my speech had been accepted. I was like, okay, sure. Okay, so I was crazy nervous day of, blah, 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 because I get crazy nervous and all that jazz. But day of, I looked through the program, and I had heard that they usually only do 2 speeches through this, or like through their graduations, but there were 3 speeches this time.
Dun dun dun.
So we're going through the ceremony, and it was a Christian institution. Something that I no longer, for personal reasons, have any affiliation with. So the first one was kind of your typical, like, graduating, you know, blah blah blah, and learning. I don't know. It was a very very cliche graduation speech that you've all heard before somewhere at some graduation. The next one, as it was a Christian institution, was very, like, missionally oriented and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, yay. And then mine was the last one. And so I start telling my story about David.
You mean your lie.
My lie. And I mean, I just started telling the story. Nobody asked me if it was true or not.
I know, that's the best part. You never question those speeches. You're like, wow, there was a guy that did that? That's so awesome. It's in a speech. It must be true.
So I just told my story about David and whatnot, and I got so many compliments for that speech, dude.
I remember that.
But no, supposedly Mr. H and Floyd were there, and Mr. H leans over to Floyd while they were at my thing listening to my speech, and he's like, he's lying to thousands of people, because they both knew the story that it was totally BS.
Yep. Good old times. I think that was probably your best speech you've given that I've heard.
That's the best speech I've given, from my perspective, too.
Though, honestly, I think that probably my best speech I've ever given was at Mr. H's bachelor party. Or not bachelor party. No, I mean at the wedding. My worst speech was actually for my Eagle project when I was doing a speech in front of literally thousands of people at this like school reunion / like reconstruction thing, and there was literally thousands of people there, and I think it was in like Tacoma or something, and
now people know where we live.
That's okay. because we don't live in Tacoma. If you can find where we live based off Tacoma, kudos.
But they know Lynch Creek Road too, and I googled that today because I was curious, and there's only one Lynch Creek Road that the map goes to.
Anyway, thousands of people speech. Anyway, it was a super, super sunny day, and I wasn't prepared for the speech, so I had to read all my notes and stuff. And I couldn't see a darn thing, so at the last minute, I was given a pair of sunglasses, and I had to, like, huddle over my notes the whole time, and I was mic'd, and it was weird being mic'd, and it was just terrible. I barely remember that experience, because that was 5 lifetimes ago.
5 lifetimes ago. Apparently when I was like a young child, I used to sing publicly in the Tacoma Mall.
Really?
Supposedly. I hear these things from my parents and I'm like, what are you talking about? Who was this child?
WTF.
Sure wasn't me. My mom also used to put on little shows at the Barnes & Noble by the mall, pretending she was a... What was she? She pretended to be like a horse trainer or something, and she had this little puppet horse.
What the heck?
That she
Your
would
mom
use
is
to
so weird, just so you know.
No, she would do like these Spanish lullabies to try to teach kids Spanish.
Your mom is so weird.
And then she had a radio show for a year.
I know, exactly. Your mom's weird. And she calls me Floydy Poo.
And that she does.
All the time. And I'm like, I'm not Floydy Poo.
So the NSA.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that exciting of a story. I just had a friend who was applying for a job for the NSA.
Oh, I think I remember this.
And I get a call. Like he had asked me if it was okay to put him as like a reference, and I was like, oh sure, whatever. And so I get this call one day from the NSA saying, we want to interview you. I was like, okay, in person.
Oh really? You didn't tell me about this. I remember you telling me about the guy wanting to join them and whatever.
But yeah, so it was an in-person interview. Oh, geez, okay. So I met with him. I made sure I was all nice and dressed nicely, and we had a nice little chat. And I felt I did horribly because I have a tendency to just when I'm trying to make stuff up as like just talk as I'm making stuff up or speak off the top of my head or whatever, as I hit this type of an issue as I'm having right now, where the words just don't come out and I'm thinking them but I can't say them. And so I figured that I had done that, but like when I left and shook his hand, he said something along the lines of like, it's nice to talk to someone as well spoken as you. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the fact that I use words like vehemently in sentences.
That's a good word.
I use that. Okay, so I used that for the first time in an actual sentence in real life, like 2 days ago.
Really?
I got so excited. I was like, yes!
I love that word.
It is a good word. But I really love like the words atrocious. Mm-hmm. And there's another word that's like atrocious that I really love.
Fabulous.
It's also a very negative word, like atrocious. Abhor.
Abhor, that's a good one.
Abhor.
I only use vehemently in a negative way.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a good word.
I like vehemently despise it or something like that. I don't know.
Vehemently?
No. How's vehemently work again?
Well, it just means like...
Yeah. Yeah, I always use it in a negative way. I haven't used it for friggin' ever, but
I think the reason it came up in conversation was we were talking about my sister and how my dad and I would want to potentially set something up where we could potentially scare the children during Halloween. And my sister would be vehemently against it.
Yes.
Because she's a much nicer person than...
That sounds like so much fun. I don't know. I don't even comprehend not wanting that to do that. Then again, I have to work with kids on a daily basis.
So I told you about this the other day, but what I want to do one day is when I set up like a Halloween thing is like, I read this online the other day, or this was a couple months ago, where you take empty toilet paper rolls and you cut out like eye shapes, like scary eye shapes in them, and then you stick a glow stick in them, and then you like stick it in a tree or something, and so it looks like there's just glowing eyes coming from the tree. I want to do that. Scare little poops. Halloween, man.
Messing with kids is a lot of fun. One of the guys at the farm, I've told you about this, but he milked a chicken for a bunch of kids.
I don't remember this.
Really? Okay, so, well, this kind of serves to show you how stupid adults are, honestly, more than anything else. He did it to mess with the kids, but one way or another, through a series of events, he got roped into...
Oh, okay, yep.
Milking a chicken. Yeah. So he has a friend that's working there, and he wanted to kind of, mess around with his friend. So he told the teacher of the school that was there that, he told the kids of the school that was there that the next day that this guy Fred, or whatever his name was, would show them how to milk the chicken. And I mean, he was just messing around. These kids, the teacher had been coming here for years, and the teacher was like kind of rolled her eyes. The next day, she told Fred that he was gonna about what happened. So Fred runs up to Bob and is like, "Dude, seriously? These kids all expect me to milk a chicken for them," and because they take everything you say completely seriously, and so Bob's like, "All right, we'll figure this out." And so he goes and gets a baggie, puts a little bit of milk in it, and pricks a little hole in the corner and kind of palms it in his hand. And they go get a chicken, and we have this little tiny bucket in the barn that says chicken milk only. It's only about 3 inches tall. And it's always just been kind of a joke that sat there. Well, he got that off the hook. And they milked this chicken into this little bucket. And here's the thing. No, here's the funny thing, though. For weeks after this happened, because there was a lot of people videotaping this, we had adults calling in asking where they could get milking chickens. Because people are literally that stupid.
Didn't you also have like some adults that came there and like, is that a dog?
So, in the barn we have a cow, and I give this whole tour telling about all the animals and everything. And so they'd already gotten the tour. And they had already been turned loose to play. And the adults, sometimes, in a lot of the groups that you get, the adults are the worst people. They don't pay attention. They sit and chat in the back. And this one adult had not been paying attention and goes into the barn and goes, "Oh my gosh, that is a huge dog." And I went, that's a cow. What? Really? Yeah. What? Serious? A dog? I was so flabbergasted. I didn't even know what to do.
Oh, that reminds. Okay,
Same group. Someone else said, "Wow, I've never seen a pig before." As I was driving home, looking on the pigs on the way home, I was like,
say something
weird.
Shoot, I remember what I was gonna say. Rewinding. Nope, I don't remember.
Have we ever talked about ducks, Alex? Me and you just talked about ducks. I've talked about ducks with Mr. H before.
I don't think we've talked about ducks before.
Okay, so I was just kind of I was looking at some ducks, and they're just the weirdest animals. And I was talking about Mr. H, and we came to the conclusion that they are the most unthreatening animal in the world. They are just so innocent looking, and they just sit there going, well, and I don't know if you've ever really paid attention to the ducks, but when they eat, what they do is they just kind of wiggle their beaks in the mud, and they make this like this weird like
splashy, splashy, splashy sound,
and it's just like, you guys are just so cute. I don't even know what you're eating in there, but you're darn cute.
You know what other animals are really strange?
Huh?
Goats.
I freaking hate goats.
Because goats can, like, just eat blackberry vines.
Dude.
With no negative consequences.
For all you know, their mouth is bleeding. They're going, fur. I freaking hate goats. Actually, the goat we have right now.
Might have had to do with Halloween.
The goat we have right now at the farm isn't too bad. But she's huge. Like, to the point of being able to drag me around almost.
Oh, gosh.
And so we just call her a tank.
Well, you should tell the story about the time where, like, the animals were like progressively like following the next bigger animal, and the biggest animal was pissing you off or something, or it was the other way around.
I don't really remember. The last set of animals we had, the horse was really like emo. Oh, God. And then the cow loved the horse and would follow the horse around, and then the sheep loved the cow.
Yeah, this.
And the sheep would follow the cow around, and the goat was just stupid and followed the sheep.
Yeah, this.
And they ran around the field like that. I hate goats. Our last goat was, I don't know if she was really smart or just really, really dedicated to the cause of escaping. Because, like, I mean...
run style.
Like, I mean, she's so... And they got that stupid look on their face, and they got the sideways pupils, and they're like, food. But, man, she... Okay, so she figured out that if she headbutted the doors enough, they would open. And so she managed to open every door that she could get her head on. And she also managed to rip out some of the eye hooks we had.
Jeez.
And she was headbutting these hard. She hated being left in the barn. And I just freaking hate goats. So she got out of everything. And she was little. And she was like super cute, like for a goat. And
for a goat.
She got out all the time. I hated her so much.
I was going to tell you something else regarding this. We're talking about stupid animal headbutting. Oh, right. Okay. So we used to have dogs that could open the little, like, dog kennels, like the little, like, portable dog kennels.
Really?
Yeah. They would,
That's
like, reach their
impressive.
paws out and, like, open the doors. Speaking of animals, I rewatched Who Framed Roger Rabbit the other day.
Really? I was just thinking about that movie the other day.
Okay. It's actually really damn good.
Really?
Yes.
I haven't seen it since I was like 6.
I know, right? And I hated it as a kid because it was boring and there was just a lot of talking.
Yeah.
But having watched it now as an adult and a young adult, and actually being interested in what the dialogue and what they're saying, but also having recently seen Chinatown, this movie, it's actually really good.
Huh.
And, like, it's really derivative of other film noir movies like Chinatown, but, like, it's actually really funny.
Wow, that's interesting.
Like, I was pleasantly surprised with the movie that I watched.
Huh.
I also watched The Road recently.
I hated that movie.
You hated it?
Yes.
I really liked it.
It was so depressing.
Isn't that depressing?
I don't know. I guess I went into it with the wrong viewpoint too, because I was expecting like post-apocalyptic movie.
I was expecting people dad and child
Walking down a road for 2 hours.
Yes, I was expecting that.
I wasn't.
because the guy who wrote the book that The Road is based off of is also the guy who wrote the book that No Country for Old Men is based off of, and that's just another movie where people just
do nothing for 2 hours.
Exactly. So I was expecting that one.
I wasn't.
But no, I really liked that movie. I really enjoyed the mood that they created. But then again, I had also recently just played The Last of Us, and there are a lot of similarities between The Last of Us and The Road. And then it also reminded me of that one scene in Children of Men. Have you seen Children of Men?
I actually haven't seen that yet. I've seen like the opening scene.
Good.
Ever since I was in theaters, I was like, that's such a fun concept. I want to watch it. And I never watched it.
There's this one scene, no spoilers or anything for you, but there's this scene where... So this car is just driving through kind of wilderness territory, and they get like ambushed by wild people. And it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because that being an Alfonso Cuarón movie, it has longer takes. Speaking of Alfonso Cuarón movies, have you seen Gravity yet?
No.
You need to
I haven't actually seen a new movie in a while.
Really? I've seen a newer movie than you have?
Yeah.
Then again, Gravity is the first movie I've seen since Man of Steel.
Dang, really?
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
I believe I'm going to see Ender's Game either.
Wow, that does not look interesting to me.
Sunday.
Jackie really wants to watch it.
Supposedly the book's really good.
Yeah, supposedly the Twilight books are really good. Just saying, I generally hate stuff that has to do with like that, like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a kid, but I'm saving the world through this way.
Apparently, it's actually really one of the most. It's like a crazy influential book with regard to the science fiction genre as a whole.
Okay. Well, I won't chop off its head yet or anything, but it's not something I'm looking forward to super.
I've heard crazy mixed reviews about it, though.
Really?
Like, I've heard people who absolutely...
You're gonna hate it.
who absolutely loved it, and then other people who really, really, really did not like it.
I'm trying to think if there's any movies coming out that I want to watch.
Other than friggin' Days of Future Past, they released a trailer for that, like, recently.
Why am I blanking on this?
X-Men.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen a trailer for that yet.
Oh, it just came... It just came out for us. For you, it's been out for a couple
dating
weeks.
our podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? It looks crazy good, dude.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how far superhero movies have come?
From the days of the Adam West Batman movie.
Well, not even then. Like, to the point, I'm thinking even like the 2000s and stuff.
Oh, yeah, like the Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah. Wait, did you say Michael Keaton or did you say Adam West?
I said Michael Keaton.
Oh, for some reason I heard Adam West. And I'm like, no. Then they weren't even taking themselves seriously.
Yeah, I said Michael Keaton.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Michael Keaton, yeah. But, like back then it was just like bad movies. I mean, bad superhero movies was what they did. Now we actually get some decent stuff.
But not a good Green Lantern.
Oh, man.
It was horrible.
It was terrible.
I actually, I forgot about this recently, but I actually missed, like, a good chunk of that movie.
Really?
Because I was seeing it with my sister, and she was having a really, really, really bad headache, so we had to get out and go to Target to get her some Advil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it in theaters. I redboxed that one, and I do not regret it.
I'm looking forward to redboxing Pacific Rim.
That movie was fun. That movie really was. That's the definition of that movie. It was fun. I mean, there's like all these stereotypes in it and stuff. Like the Russians are like so stereotyped, but they're awesome.
Of course.
And they die in a dramatic ways. That movie's fun. It does its job well. The CGI was worth watching for. I mean,
that's why I want to watch it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Waiting to watch it on Blu-ray so I can, because we gotta surround sound. Ooh, hit my cheese grater. I've got a cheese grater on hanging from my.
So that he can face his fears.
Yeah, dude.
Cheese grater, man.
I was gonna put a cheese grater. Okay, so at my school, when you graduate, you decorate your cap. Or a lot of people decorate your cap.
Yeah.
And I was gonna put a cheese grater on mine. And my girlfriend was like, "Don't put a cheese grater on there. It's stupid." I was like, well, what if I put a quote on there with it, like an inspirational quote? So I grabbed the Tyrion quote from early book one of the early Game of Thrones, where he says something like, "If you wear your weakness as armor, no one can use it against you." So I was gonna put that on. And she's like, "No, you're just shoehorning that in there." It's like, "Yes, I am." But then I would tell it to people who didn't know the fact that I kind of just shoehorned it. It's like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah," because then I would talk about how I had this fear of cheese graters. I was like, yes. Like that little baby meme with the sandcastle guy or whatever.
That's awesome. I love Tyrion. Did I tell you he was in a Saturday Night Live episode?
Peter Dinklage?
Yeah. As Peter Drunklage.
Oh, God. I actually saw that.
Really?
Yeah, my dad called me in.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I was laughing.
Because I watched through Game of Thrones with my father.
Really impressive actor.
Yeah, he is. He's in Days of Future Past.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He plays the scientist who invents the Sentinels.
What was the other thing I saw him in recently?
30 Rock?
Yeah, 30 Rock. That's what it was. Yeah. I just he was in a suit. Yeah, he's a pretty awesome actor. I like him.
I enjoy.
It's funny how different Tyrion in the book is, though.
You mean apart from being horrendously ugly?
Yeah, well, that's like the main thing, though. Is he's like super like messed up and like weird looking and kind of terrifying. But I mean, Peter Dinklage. I mean, he's a pretty kind of just. I don't know. He could do some crazy awesome accents. I love his voice that he uses for the way he does Tyrion.
Yeah.
He does a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
And now we're back to Game of Thrones.
Dun 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 dun. I'm behind on that show by quite a bit.
Oh, God.
It just takes so much energy for me to watch it because I have to really care. And I'm like, I'd rather just watch something stupid and
just
raw.
like you need to watch Mad Men, but you gotta really care about that one.
And Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, dude, you need to watch that one, the ending. Or the episode two episodes from the end is like oh my gosh, your brain will friggin' explode. It's called Ozymandias. Oh my gosh, that is one of the best hours of any visual anything I've ever seen.
That show is done, right?
Yes, totally done.
Good.
Done and over.
And it had a good, satisfying ending one
Yes.
way or another? Oh, that's good. That's good.
Ozymandias will make your brain explode, though.
I see.
Like, the things that they do in that episode are just like, oh god. There were quite a few moments in that episode where I was just like trembling. It's like, God.
That's season 4, right? They made it up to this season 4 or 5?
Well, 5 or 6, depending upon how you number the second or the last quote season unquote.
Gotcha.
Because
okay.
it's technically 5 seasons split in half. Though some people called the last 8 episodes a
Season
6th season.
Okay. So episodically, though, there's about 5 seasons worth of episodes.
Yes, because season 1 was only about 7 episodes long. So if you take the last couple episodes from the 5th season and stick them into the first, then maybe you're missing about 3 episodes. But yeah, it's nice. About 5 seasons, but such a good show.
Yeah, I loved it, but I haven't been in the mood for watching that. I don't know why. I'm never in like a supernatural horror flick mood, but that's how I've been lately. I don't know why.
And so what have you been doing? You've been watching Supernatural and American Horror Story.
Well, yeah, but like I don't know. I have not been able to watch anything where I can't do something else at the same time.
Yeah.
No, I've been watching shows that I can do other things
because then it feels like a waste of time because you're not doing something else other than actively. Yeah, no, I get you there. Yeah. There was that's why I have such an issue with I have this big long nice Netflix list of movies that I need to watch, but I haven't been able to watch them because I've been always like late at night. It's just like I should do something social or I should do something productive, even though I've been doing things productive most of the day.
Yeah. I mean, heck, I'll even freaking watch a show while I'm playing a video game.
That's overkill.
I don't know. I don't know. I just like having it running. I don't know.
Background noise?
Yeah. Well, and that does depend on the video game. Like, if it's a story-based game, I won't.
You need to play The Wolf Among Us.
There's a lot of games I need to play. Yes, I'm behind on video games and
the Christmas sales coming up.
Oh yeah, I need to think if there's anything I want.
I got a huge wish list full of things.
Really? I thought you were pretty much caught up on everything you wanted.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, and then here's the other thing. Okay. One of the games that's on that wish list I can't actually play yet because I don't have a controller to use for my.
I can lend you mine if you want.
You have an actual controller, like a gamepad?
Yeah. Ringo gave it to me forever ago.
I might want to buy
I used it with Mega Man. I think that's the only thing I've ever used it on.
I might need to borrow that then because I'm probably going to, depending upon reviews and whatnot for the Steam controller, I'll probably end up just getting one of those and getting my building myself a Steam box or Steam machine.
It's like exactly like the PS2 controller.
Okay.
It's got fans in the handles to cool your hands down.
Nice.
Yeah, I've had it forever. I've never. I don't know exactly where it is, but I'm sure I could find it.
Another one of the games comes out early November, and I'll actually probably get that before it comes out. And
I guess I should be looking for stuff for that Christmas sale.
Well, I've been gradually adding stuff to my list when I notice something. It's like, ooh, this is a cool indie game. Ooh, that's a cool indie game.
You and your indie games.
Well, that's because that's where the innovation in the freaking medium is.
It's true. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything I really want right now.
It's because you don't.
I haven't been
actively look.
Well, I haven't been playing a lot of games lately. I've been playing a decent amount. I have been playing Pokemon, but I'm taking Pokemon a lot slower than I thought I would too, and I've been playing a little bit of Skyrim, and that's really it. I haven't been playing WoW. I'm kind of on a break from that, and I don't know. I've just been I'm having trouble playing video games lately. And that's been something I've had for a while, but I mean, it takes me a little bit to get into stuff. But I think I'm probably going to be able to talk myself into getting into Mass Effect soon. Maybe I'll actually finish the freaking series this time. Because I beat 2, and I stopped.
You need to play through the Arrival
Shadow Broker
and Shadow Broker DLC first.
Yeah.
Before you get to 3. Well,
seems like a good place to end
yeah,
it.
that is episode 6 of Cool Down Timer.
Yep.
I am Alex.
And I'm Floyd Buchanan. Thanks for listening, everybody.
And if you would like to give us suggestions or emails or tell us stories about your life that we can...
Or again, shout out random movies for us to watch, because seriously,
Yes.
we'll do that. We'll watch random movies on Netflix or
movies
Amazon.
on Netflix or Amazon.
Yep. We'll probably watch something tonight and talk about it next week.
We'll see. Yeah, so email us at contact us at cooldowntimer.com. That's contact us.
Yeah.
And that is... Oh, that'll do, pig.
That'll do.